Hello and welcome to our live workshop. If you can hear me loud and clear, please let me know in the comments box below before we continue. Okay, please let me know in the comments box. Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Awesome, right, looks like you can hear me loud and clear. So today's workshop is very important. Now, if you didn't know, there are actually quite a lot of people that access the websites using mobile devices more than actual desktops. So today we are going to be covering the best ways to present all our content, which is optimal for desktops and also mobile devices. Now, before we start, I'd like to welcome all of you. So here we have Dwayne, we have Agante, Rito, Jean, we have Sue J, we have Rosemary, Tina, Claude, Manuel. Awesome, good to see you all. This is amazing. Right, let's see. Did I miss anyone here? We also have Byron. We also have Sean, Sean Dexter, Desmond. Good to see you too. Awesome. All right, so this stream is also, let's have a look here. Okay, looks like the sound quality is not good on YouTube. But anyway, you know what? If not, you can always head over to Crowdcast, because I think on Crowdcast, everything seems to be working fine. All right, so throughout this workshop, if you have any questions, please just drop your questions in the comments box below, and I'll do my best to respond to those questions. And also, those of you that haven't bought Divi yet, we are going to be using Divi in this workshop. So if you haven't bought Divi, I'm just going to add the link here in the description. So if you purchase Divi using that link, you will get my bonuses. So the first bonus is the Divi Blueprint 3 course, and you also get the Photoshop for web designers course and the WordPress for beginners course. All right, so let's get started. Oh, I've just noticed that we have Alan just joining us here. Good to see you, Alan. All right, so let's get started now. I'm just going to switch over now to my desktop. So what I've done ahead of time is I've gone ahead and created 3 pages. So let me just show you. Okay, here we go. So what I've done ahead of time is I created these 3 pages. I've got the home page, I've got the landing page, and I also have the contact page. Right, so these 3 pages, I just created them just pretty much by loading a pre-made layout. And these pre-made layouts are very easy to install. In fact, let me show you quickly how to add a pre-made layout. So I'm just going to come back over here to my dashboard for those of you that haven't used pre-made layouts before. So I'm just going to come to pages, click on add new. I'm just going to create a brand new page called about. Okay, I'm going to click on use Divi Builder. Choose pre-made layout. Now there's quite a lot of pre-made layouts to choose from, so it's a matter of just finding the one that has the design that you like, and then you go ahead and choose that design, and then you can go in and customize it. So this is the beauty of using these pre-made layouts. So right now I'm just scrolling through these because I'm looking for a particular one, which I chose for the other pages. So the specific one is chiropractor. Okay, here it is. So it's the about page. So I'm going to go ahead and select this page here and hit publish. Oops, looks like that didn't work. Let's do it one more time. Okay, I'm just going to hide this. Okay, so I'm going to click this plus button. Not sure what happened there. So my layout is right here, and it's the about page. I'm going to click on use this layout. So that's the step that I missed. Okay, so the layout now has been installed. All I have to do now is to hit save and exit the Visual Builder. So that's pretty much how you add a pre-made layout. And then after this stage, you can go in and then start customizing it. All right, So now let's talk about why we are here today and why we need to make our website mobile responsive. So as you can see, when we take a look at this page, it looks pretty okay. You know, on a desktop, it's fine. It has all our information. And as I scroll this, it's a beautiful, page. But let's take a look at this page on a tablet and then on a smartphone. All right, so if you want to do just a quick preview of how these pages look, normally I activate the Visual Builder and then I click on the expand settings, okay? Now, on the left here, we have these three buttons. We have the desktop, we have the tablet, and we have the mobile. So this is what you need to do. So you want to click here on tablet. So when you click here, this gives you an idea of what it looks like on a tablet, and as you scroll through, you can see there's a lot of information here to go through. And when I go to a phone, that's even worse. It is mobile friendly, but as you can see, there's a lot of information that is very, very unnecessary here to show on a mobile device, because a mobile device is a very small screen. So you want to add, or you want to show the most important content on there. So the first example I'm going to show you is to enable and disable certain items on these different devices. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here to my desktop. So what you want to do is, let's say you want to disable, let's say, this section right here. So to disable it, you want to go into section settings, advanced, visibility. And then here you can see it says disable on. So let's say we want to disable this on a mobile phone. So we can just disable it on mobile and tablet and then save. Then we can scroll down and say, right, where else do we want to disable? So let's say we want to disable this one here because it's too busy for our mobile phones. Okay, so let's go ahead and disable this. I'm going to come over here, click on advanced, visibility, disable on phone, disable on tablet, save it one more time. And then let's see if there's something else we need to disable. Yeah, I think this last section here, we can disable it. I'm going to click on this gear icon, click on advanced, visibility, disable on phone, disable on tablet, save. Okay, now if we do a quick preview while this is on, we won't really see what is disabled. We'll see it grayed out. Like for example, here we can see this one here is grayed out. That means it will not show. So what I'm going to do for us to be able to see this clearly, I'm going to save this. And then I'm just going to resize my browser. So I'm going to exit the Visual Builder here. In fact, I think we can do, I think I might have done this before. Inspect. And here on inspect, we can actually see different devices. So notice this. I've clicked on this little arrow here. This is the toggle. Okay. So it's toggling between desktop and phone. So if I scroll down now, you'll notice that we're now missing that those three blurbs. And when I scroll down, it's also missing that bottom part. So this is really, really cool. I've simplified this page easily by just disabling the items that we don't need. So now that I'm back on the desktop, if I scroll, you'll notice that this section is visible on desktops. If I scroll down, this is also visible. But when I switch over here to my mobile, you notice that on the bottom here, it's not there. And also the rows, the blurbs are also not there. Okay, cool. So that's the first way that we can actually, in fact, let me get rid of this now because I don't need it. Enable Visual Builder. So that's the first way you can actually go in and in fact, let me bring my camera here to screen. Okay, so that is the first way you want to go in and prioritize what needs to be seen on which device. This is very, very important. You know, one of the most annoying things when I go to my phone is to go to a website and I have to scroll through all that information. It's quite difficult to read, and sometimes, or in fact, most of the time when people are actually browsing stuff on their phone, they're actually on the go, they're on the bus. So there's no time to read all that information, especially if it's a website that provides services. Okay, so let's move on to the next page. So I'm also going to do the similar technique that I used here on the contact page. And then I'm going to show you an advanced feature which was recently released for Divi, where we are able to actually go in and edit our content for mobile devices. Now, this is going to be very, very exciting. So let's do this one more time so you can see how you can apply this even on your contact page. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Michael, I think you just posted something there in, I'm not sure what language that is, so not sure what to make of it. Can someone translate for me, please? Okay, I'm waiting for the translation. Hopefully it's something nice. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Ah, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you very much for the translation. And Michael, thank you very much for those nice words. Appreciate it. All right. Now, if you design your websites the way I'm actually showing you here, if you're a freelance designer, this is going to be very, very impressive. Okay. Imagine going to your client and saying, look, our website is highly optimized for different views. And on your website, you can actually see where the majority of people are coming from. If you install the Google Analytics, it actually shows you the percentage of visitors coming from, let's say, desktop versus mobile. So actually, that's really, really cool. So when you go to your clients and say, look, our websites, and this is part of the deal, your website will be optimized for different screens, and they can actually test it on their own phone. So this is one of those things that you can actually use. It's very impressive, and it just makes your work even of higher quality. Okay, so let's go in and, oh yeah, there's a question here. Translation, will you talk about ConvertKit? Yes, I can talk about ConvertKit once we go through this and we have time, and there's specific things that you want to learn about ConvertKit. I'm very happy to do that. So let's get on with this first. Let's see how far we go, and then I can go into ConvertKit, because ConvertKit is also very, very, very important. If you're a freelance designer designing websites for your clients, helping them, set up leads for their business. So it's also a crucial tool that you may need as you're designing your websites. All right, so let's dive back in and let's start working on our design here. Okay. Right, so I'm going to start working now on the contact page. So I'm going to come over here to contact. Again, we can see here that this design looks really nice. It's a beautiful design. It looks really cool, but as we scroll down here, it's too much information just for a contact page. So now let's simplify this for the desktop. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is to duplicate this. In fact, let's enable the visual builder here. So what you want to do, I know it takes a bit of time, but once you nail this, this is really, really cool. So what you want to do here is let's create a brand new section here. Okay, it's a regular section, 2 columns. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to drag elements from here down here. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to duplicate this. And then I'm just going to drag it over here. Okay, so that's our form. Over here, we just want to duplicate this. Drag it into the second column. So now we have the opening times and the contact form. So here on the contact form, I think we might as well go in and style this a little bit. let's give this a background color. So I'm going to come over here to background and let's add, okay, let's go with this. Okay, so that's our background color. And one thing that we may also want to do here is to add some padding. So I'm going to go to spacing and add 20 pixels. And this is going to be all round, just to give this some breathing space. Okay, so that's our form. Weekdays, we're open 8 to 5, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. So this now is the information that we need to show on the desktops, I mean, on the smartphones. So here, let's add this title as well. So I'm going to come over here, duplicate this, drag it down here as well. Okay, so we have contact us. And then we have this form. So one more thing that we may want to have here is also a phone number, because that works really, really well for contact forms. Okay, so now let's disable the stuff that we don't need. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, click on advanced, visibility. So I don't want this showing on phones. I don't want this showing on tablets. Save that. Okay. Now this one, now there's a twist to this now. So pay attention to this, really pay attention to this. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, advanced, visibility. Now, I don't want to show this on the desktop. So you can say disable on desktop. Okay. So this section here will not show on the desktop. So this is really, really cool. It will only show on phones and tablets. I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to come over here. Now this one here, we're going to disable it on phones and tablets. Save that. And all this other stuff we don't really need. So I'm going to go ahead and disable all of that. Okay. Disable on phone, disable on tablet. And look at this massive one here on the bottom. You know, this one look great on mobile devices. Let's go and disable it. So I'm going to come again on this visibility, phone, tablet, save that. Okay. So now that I've set everything up, I'm going to save this page. And then we're going to view this page and see what it looks like. Okay. So let's exit the Visual Builder now. Okay. So let's do that trick that I did earlier on. Let's go and inspect this page. Okay, great. So on the desktop, notice as I'm scrolling through, it's pretty much showing everything that we had before. But notice what happens when I switch this to mobile device. Boom. All we have is contact us. Weekdays, we are open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Weekends, we're open from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And you put a form and boom, that's your contact page. Right? Now, I'm sure you'll agree with me if I say that if you're on a mobile device, you want to find out more information about this chiropractor, you go on the contact page, and this is the information that you see. This is really, really, really much better. Now, if you agree with me, please say yes in the comments box. But if not, let's find out why you don't agree. Okay, so I can see all the comments coming through. Okay, so let's give you the link here. So if you're on Facebook, here is the link that you need to go to. I've just pasted it in there. Carla says, I hate long sales pages. That's true. So I think this is really, really cool. Now, let's head over back and let's close this. Now, let me show you some advanced techniques now. And these advanced techniques that I'm going to show you were actually released I think it was last week. So let's head over here to our homepage. Right, so yes, Douglas says most people don't understand the concept. They expect to see what's on a desktop. That's absolutely true. So this is why I'm teaching you these tips. I know they may sound very basic, but you know, when you design your websites this way, you're taking your design skills to the next level. I mean, most people will just make this page responsive and just show everything on a smaller device. But you want to make sure you choose what you want to show on the devices and what you need to exclude. Now, this is taking your design skills to the next level. All right, so now I want to show you something really, really cool. So let's say this information here is so important that you really, really, really have to show it on the mobile device. So here's some challenges that we may have. So this title here may be way too long. This description here may be way too long. So you want to reduce all this, but you still want to show the content. Okay. Now, the reason why we're going to reduce this content is because this content needs to look better on a smaller device. You don't want to have too much text on a smaller device. Now, we can actually go in now and do what is known as responsive editing. Let me show you how that works. So first of all, I want to come here and click advanced, and we want to make sure now this is visible on phone and tablet. Okay, so we definitely want to show this. Right, so let's start working on this. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon to go into my blurb. Okay, now you may have not noticed this because some of these features that are added onto Divi are added onto the UI, and sometimes they're very, very easy to miss. Okay, now if we take a look at this title here, okay, this title may be quite long for smaller devices. So how do we shorten this? So what you want to do is to put your mouse over here. Okay, now do you see this little icon here, this phone icon? If you click on it, this now allows you to add different titles for different devices. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this, come over here to my tablet. Now notice that I can actually come over here to my tablet and add a shorter description. Notice that. Okay, take a look here. I've just reduced that. On the phone, maybe we want to have one word. Okay, I'm going to paste it there. And now this is just for demo purposes. Now notice that. Now pay attention here to the top here. Okay, pay attention to the top here. If I switch over, you notice now we have two words. When I go to desktop, now we have the complete title. Okay. So we can actually do this across pretty much all these modules. Now, let me show you where this can be applied as well. Do you see here on the body now? If I click on this little icon like that, I can actually go in and say, you know what, for the mobile devices, the text is way too much. So you want to reduce this. So I'm just going to copy part of this like that. Click on the tablet. Okay. And then I can now paste in a shorter description. Look at that. Much, much shorter. Okay, I'm going to make it even shorter. Copy that. I'm going to make it even shorter for the phone. There we go. So now we have a title and a shorter description. Now pay attention, keep looking here. I'm going to go to tablet. Tablet, now we have a bit more text and we have two words on the title, and then on the desktop, we have pretty much all the content that we need. Now, this is called responsive editing. Right, so I see RJ asks a question here, and this question is very, very important. RJ says, what do search engines focus on? If Google reads the mobile, it will destroy the SEO. No. Now, I'm not sure if I've installed my SEO plugin here, but what you do is you add all your important keywords in your SEO plugin. So you add your title, you add your focus keyword, you add your description. So all that information there, you add it onto your SEO plugin. So it won't affect your SEO going forward. So this should be fine. Okay. So now that I've added all this, I'm just going to change my titles here quickly. I mean, my fonts. And what you can also do here, and this is really, really cool. Now I'm going to come over here to my titles. Now notice this. Right now I'm on heading 4. So let's say this is the size that I need for my desktop, but on my other devices, I want the size to be smaller. Now here is the title text size. If I click on this little icon here again, I can actually go into the tablet and set this to maybe 18. Notice that it's a bit smaller now. I can go to the phone. Okay, there we go. I can set it to, let's say, 17. Okay, I know it's a slight change, but I just want to show you that you can also go in and drill down to the specifics. So title text, you can go in, you can see that it's 18. On the desktop, it's 22. So you can actually go in and really design this the way you want. Now, this also works with fonts. So let's say over here, you know, my favorite is Poppins. So I'm just going to come over here and just change my font here to Poppins. Okay, that looks much better. I can also go in and change my font or even the colors based on which device people are looking at this from. So let's go ahead and try this. So before I do that, I just want to change my font here as well. My body text. So I'm going to scroll down here, go to body text, change this from default to Poppins. All right, so I prefer Poppins. Okay. Claude asks a very important question here, and the question is, can you do all this through global settings? Very, very interesting question. Now, you know what? I'm going to try and see if we can do responsive editing on globally, but I'm pretty sure we can, but it's not a good idea to do that, and I'll tell you why. Because these blurbs here, you want for global defaults, you just want to make sure it's design related, not content related. What I mean by that is if you set your blurbs to be shorter, right? I mean, this is very specific. So let's say you want this to be longer on your desktops. That will be the style that will be applied across, right? But as a design style, your global settings need to be things like color, the type of font, the sizes, the image styles, and that kind of stuff. But when it comes to content, it's not really advisable to set it globally this way, because when you add another blurb, the content here is going to differ as you add your content on the website. So you still need to go back in and say, oh, you know what, this title needs to be this, or this paragraph needs to be that, and so on. But if you want to use this as a guide, of course, I mean, I'm sure you can do this. I'm going to try it before we complete this video. And RJ pretty much answered similar to what I was going to say here. Byron says, by the way, which SEO plugin do you use? Right, I will show you I'll recommend the plugin that I also use for SEO towards the end. Okay, so right now I've pretty much done this style. Pretty much happy with that. Now, here's one thing that you can also do. You can also change these colors based on which device people are viewing this from. So let's say right now we're on desktop. If I click on this brush tool, it's going to take me to here, image and icon. Now notice this. If I click here on this little icon, if I go on tablet, I could decide and say, you know what? I want that when people are visiting my website from tablet, they see this color. Notice that. And I could say, oh, when they visit me from the phone, I want them to see this color. Okay. Now I'm just going to save this. I know we've done quite a few changes here. Now I'm going to show you what this looks like now on 3 different devices. Okay, so I'm going to exit the Visual Builder. And then, so here it is. So your focus needs to be here. This is the one that we made some changes to. Okay, so let's right click on inspect. Okay, so take a look at this one right here. If I change this now, notice what happens. The color has changed to my mobile device here, and the description here is down to just one word, and my paragraph now has changed. So notice the difference. So if I do that, it's pretty much showing everything, right? But when I go to mobile, the color of the icon has changed. This is also down to one word, and the description is now smaller. So in cases where you want to, in fact, let me switch over here. So in cases where you want to show more information on the desktop, you can do this this way. But if the information is so important that it needs to be shown on a mobile device, you can still do it, but you can customize it even further. So if the heading is way too long, you can make it a bit shorter. If the description is way too much, you can summarize the description, make it smaller. Now, this also applies to images. You can show different images on different devices, and this is what I'm about to show you in this example. So let's dive in and let me show you how. But before I do that, if you have any questions, please. Okay, in fact, we have a question here from Agante. Agante says, I've read several times that Google favors websites that are created with mobile-first websites in mind. Is this kind of design now helpful for this? Yes, absolutely. So by structuring your website like this, the search engines can actually see that you've optimized your website for mobile as well. So right now, what we're doing here is, although we have the desktop design, we are pretty much designing this for mobile as well, like total mobile visitors for our website. So this is why we are streaming it down to just show information for mobile devices. So this could be, the solution for that. RJ says, can you see the impact at page speed from Google? To be honest with you, I haven't tested the page speed, but that's something that I want to do. So I'm going to do this separately and then see how this works. Right now, this setup is on my local computer. So I would like to set this similar website on an actual hosted site, and then test and see if this impacts. But I doubt if this will have an impact on the page speed, to be honest. Vera says, can I see this from the beginning? Yes, you can see this tutorial from the beginning. Right, okay. Let me show you some other cool stuff that we can do here. Right, so let us close this. All right, so in our next example here, I want to show you how you can use images for different devices. Okay. So right now, I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Okay. So let's say we want to add some images here. So I'm going to add a new row, add 3 images in here. So I'm going to search for my image module. And then I'm going to choose an image to add in here. So I'm going to start with this one here. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this twice and then just fill in these columns. Okay, now notice what happens here when I go in and make some adjustments to this. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon to go into my module settings. Now, on this image as well, we can click this little icon here and notice what happens. Immediately, I have these two tabs. So I can actually go into the tablet tab, click here to add an image, and I can serve a totally different image. Now, just for fun, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add an image of these lions, okay? Just for fun. Upload an image. And for the phone, we're going to add a totally different image. And this time, let's see. Let's add an image of this dog. Right. Click upload. Now, notice what happens. In fact, you know what? These are distracting. Let's get rid of this. So here's the thing. I'm going to exit the Visual Builder here. I'm going to come over here to this image. Now, notice what happens. In fact, for this, let's do that trick again. I'm going to inspect the page. So when people visit our websites on a phone, they're going to see the dog or a tablet. You see that? But when I switch back over here, where is it? There we go. We have this image. And then when I switch here, we have the dog. Now, this is a question, very, very important. If we have the ability to go in and change images based on the device, who can tell me the best optimal way we can actually use this feature? Answer in the comments box, please. If we are able to go in and say desktop, we can add this image, tablet, we can add this image, and smartphone, we can add this type of image. Tell me how best we can utilize this feature for our website designs. Answer in the comments box, please. Okay. Should I repeat the question? The question is, if we are able to go in and add specific images for different screen sizes, how best can we utilize this feature in our designs? Dwayne says this will be good for magazines because on each device, the content will be easy to read. Yes, that's fantastic. WR Mercia says condense info. Yes, you can condense info, but the specific one here is images. Okay, so Henry, that is Henry, very, very close. Load time should reduce, which is good for SEO. Yeah, smaller size, therefore speed. RJ, you nailed it. RJ, that's the specific answer I was looking for. Vero, you're also right. Reduce pixel size. Yes, absolutely right. Dwayne, we could use large images on that. Fantastic. So now you're getting it. Fantastic. Rito says a necessary size for each view. Fantastic. So I don't need to do the demo. I'm really glad, you've picked this, you've picked this up. This is very, very good. So picture this. When we design our websites for the desktop, normally we're using like large images. Okay. Now let me just enable this so we can see how crazy sometimes this can be. And I'm guilty of this too, because I'm quite lazy sometimes. Some of the images that I use, I don't even go in and crop them because it just takes a lot of time. But this feature now is fantastic because let's take a look at this image here and see how big it is, okay? And how big some of these images are. Let's see, I know I have, look at that, 1,700 by 1018, okay? That's the size of the image that we have. I mean, that's the size of that image. Now, in the past, what we normally did was we just left this and then we just let it resize, okay? Now, that is bad, 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 bad. And the reason why it's bad is because this file is way too big. Even for small devices like your mobile phones, it's way too big. So what we can do now is we can go into Photoshop, resize this image, optimize it, and then come over here to the tablet tab, and then add that image there for the optimal size. We can also do the same for the smartphone. So I know it takes longer, but your website is going to be blazing fast, because one of the main reasons why our websites are slow is the images. The images take so much space, it's unbelievable. And it makes our website load really, really, really slow. So this is a really, really cool feature. And I hope you're going to start using this as time goes on, because this is fantastic. Now, having said that, if you add this image here as it is, Google, Divi has a brand new feature called SRC set, I think. SRC something. Yeah, SRC set support. Now, what SRC set support does is it also crops these images based on the device. So Divi is actually cropping these images for you. And that definitely also makes our websites fast. But the cool thing here is we can use this type of image, or we can go in and resize it and add it manually by ourselves. And I prefer doing it that way, because in Photoshop, you can reduce the size of image files dramatically just by resizing them. In fact, let me do a quick demo here, just to show you how important it is to optimize our images. Rosemary says, this tip is what the price of admission. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go online and look for an image. Normally I use a service called Pexels. It's really cool. So let's just choose an image from here. Let's go with, I want something with detail so you can actually see. All right, let's go with this one here, okay? Now, if I come over here and hit download, I'm just going to download the large version, the 1920 by 1378. Hit download. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to open this. In fact, I'm going to show it in the Finder first, and then open this with Photoshop. Okay, so I want you to take note here, because this sometimes is underestimated. I'm just going to pretend as if I'm saving this image here, okay? Now, take a look here on the bottom left. It says 8 seconds, and the size here is 1.2 megs, okay? That's the size of this image. So I'm not going to go in and crop, because I mean it's going to take a bit of time. But what I want to show you here is, notice if I come over here to quality, do you notice that it's on 100% here? Yeah. Now you can actually reduce the quality here down to, let's say, 75. Okay, I'm just going to reduce this. Okay. You can actually reduce this to about 75 without actually losing a lot of quality in this image here, okay? Now, the other thing that you can also do, in fact, let me cancel this. is, let's say you know exactly where you want to use this. Maybe you want to use this on a blurb. You can actually come in. Right, I've got this bubble here. Things are not moving very fast. Okay, Photoshop is not responding. Let's ignore it. Right, I really wanted to show you this feature. Right, looks like I can't do it because I'm live streaming, so my computer is going through a lot of resources. So let me quit this. Force quit because I don't want to mess up my live stream here. Okay, so Photoshop, you can see here, it's not responding, so I'm going to quit that and force quit. I'm also going to force quit QuickTime Player. Okay. Anyway, the moral of this is when you resize your images, you are making your images way much smaller and manageable. In most cases, we just use our images straight from the camera or straight from the websites where we download them from and start using this. And I'm guilty of this too, to be honest, because it's just, just being lazy. But the best way to optimize your websites and make sure they're fast is to resize your images, reduce the quality a little bit, and make sure that, reduce the file size and make sure it's optimal. Now, for those of you who are members, I have a Photoshop for web designers course. It's in the members area. Go ahead, check it out. It has all the information that you need about using Photoshop, cropping, resizing, rule of thirds, and all that great stuff. So go ahead and check it out. But anyway, this is how you would use this feature. So this is going to make your website really, really, really fast. All right, so let's take a look at other instances where we can use this feature. Okay, so as we can see, this page here has quite a lot of information. So we could say, right, you know what? I want to serve one particular video for the desktop so people can watch it longer, and then serve a different type of video for people that visit the website from mobile devices. And let me show you how you can do that. So I'm going to click here on this plus button. In fact, you know what? I'll just add it in here. Let's drag this on the top. And I'm just going to change this to one column. And let's change this to video. Okay, so I'm going to add my video in here. Let's go to design, sizing. Now this width is a bit too much. Let's reduce this to about 60%, center it. Okay, so this is the video that we were working with. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to YouTube. In fact, I'll go to YouTube on a different screen here so that it doesn't mess up our design. Okay, so I've copied the URL here. I'm going to come into my module settings. Right, so again, notice this. When I mouse over here, we get this little icon for our different views. I'm going to click on that. Now, this is what's going to be shown on the desktop. Now on the tablet, I can show a totally different video. So I'm going to click this plus button, insert from URL. I'm going to paste my link in here, insert into post. Okay. For my phone, I'm going to choose a different one. Come over here to YouTube, copy a different URL, click on this plus button, insert from URL, paste that, insert into post. So there we go. So on the phone, I have this video. On the tablet, I have this video. On the desktop, I have this demo video. Now, do you see how really, really cool this is? We can design, it's like designing 3 websites into one. That's how I'm looking at it. It's fantastic. So you can really strip down your website if it's way too busy, make it less busy by assigning specific content onto specific devices as people are visiting your website. So as you can see here, we can show a different video on the desktop. We can show a different video on the tablet, like that. As you can see, we can also show a different one on the phone. Right, so that's one way you can also do this. Now, let's say you want to have a landing page with less information. Like you said, you need to come over here and disable things globally by coming over here to the advanced tab, visibility, and then disabling things on specific devices, like, for example, the phone, the tablet, and so on. So pretty much this is how you use this feature. You need to go in, enable stuff, go in, customize it down to the actual module. And not only does it work on modules, this also works on rows, also works on sections. So it's across the whole board. So this is really, really, really powerful. Now, if you really think about it, this is why sometimes some of these features take time to be released, because this feature that I've just shown you now, the responsive editing, can be applied on each and every item. So you can go crazy creative with this. So let's say you have an image, and on desktops, you want to show it as a full color image, but on a mobile device, you want it as a black and white image. You can actually have your website look that way. So it's really, 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 really cool. Okay. The blurry problem was resolved. In fact, one of the developers got in touch with me. He was actually on the live stream, and he said that there was an update which was released to address it. Now, the problem with that was, for those of you that don't know, last time I did a demo on these features. Every time I uploaded an image, it was showing as a blurry image. So the issue with that was they had set by default that every time you upload an image, it loads it up as the lowest quality. So that was the issue. So in the next update, they went in and made sure that when you upload your image, it pretty much shows the high quality one. So that was the issue. So that has been resolved, and make sure you're running the latest version of Divi. Okay. Rosemary says, now I don't see the name of the free image service. Is it Pexels? Okay, let me just bring it back here. It's called Pexels. In fact, you know what? Let me just add it here in the description. It's called Pexels.com. There's also Pixabay and Unsplash. Let me just add one more here. Unsplash. Okay, they also have beautiful images. Okay, so any questions so far? Any questions? Sue J says your Divi course is included in the membership. Yes, the Divi course is included in the membership. And I also like to say, if you join the membership, the VIP memberships, you will get access to all current courses and future courses. Right now, I've actually held back on developing the course, the Divi Blueprint 3.4 course. I've actually held back because I have inside information of the features that will be coming out. And I'm sure some of you know this, the header and footer design, the page builder. I mean, not the page builder, the theme builder. This is going to be huge, guys. This is going to be crazy. With the theme builder, you can actually design your own themes, and these can actually be sold on the marketplace, because Divi will be releasing a marketplace. This is why, guys, you need to learn these techniques, these design tips, so you can design your own layouts and sell them on the marketplace. So this is why it's important that I cover some of these small things. They may seem like They are minor things, but they take your designs to the next level. So I was mentioning that I actually held back on designing the latest Divi course because I want this to be a course which covers pretty much everything. But if you're a VIP member and you sign up now, you are going to get access to the Divi Blueprint 4 course, which will cost around $400 once it's released. So being on the membership, you're going to get access to these live shows or these live workshops, plus all the courses in the library and any future courses. As long as your membership is active, you will get access to all the courses and all this information. But if you want to get the course outside the membership, it's going to be around $400 because I'm going to be adding quite a lot of content into the Divi Blueprint 3 course. I want the course to be the best Divi course out there, period. So I want to cover quite a lot. It's going to be a long course, which is going to cover pretty much everything that you need to know. Right. Let's talk about SEO. My SEO. Douglas says, I'm already a lifetime Divi member, over 3 years. Any offers for your course? Douglas, if you're a member, if you're a lifetime member, you will get these courses absolutely free. That's your privilege for becoming a lifetime member. You're going to get all these courses that I'm going to be releasing absolutely free. So you don't need to worry. You're in good hands. So let's have a look. So for those of you that are lifetime members, you're going to get these courses absolutely free. Okay. Right. Let's have a look here. There was a question earlier on about what plugin I use for SEO. So the plugin I use is called SEO Press. It's really, really cool. And the pricing is fantastic. Okay. So I just want to compare. I'll just compare these two for you. Just hold on 1 second. And SEO Press, I also have an affiliate link. So if you want to buy your SEO plugin using my affiliate, I would really, really appreciate that. Now, let me show you what this looks like. So here on SEO Press, in fact, I've done a demo about it. It's really, really cool. So SEO Press, this is a new kid on the block. It's really, really cool. So here, it pretty much has all the features that Yoast SEO has. So Yoast, for those of you who know, Yoast is pretty much a standard for SEO. But let me just close this. But last year, I think it was 2 years ago, SEO Press came out, and pretty much they have all these features here that Yoast SEO has. I'm just looking for the pricing here for Yoast. Where is it? Okay, here we go. So with Yoast SEO, it costs £79, excluding VAT. So this is going to be pretty much about $100. Okay, this is for one website. Now, if we come over here to SEO Press, for $39, where's the pricing? For $39, you get to use this on unlimited websites. Okay, now look at these features. This is absolutely crazy. You have backlinks, Google XML video sitemap. I mean, I don't have to go through these, but it has all these features, all for $39. Okay, and pretty much these are all the features that you have on Yoast SEO. So it's very, very powerful, and it's really, really works well. All-in-one SEO is free, but I think it misses some of these features that come with these paid ones. Because over here, remember, they also have a free version, but with this free version, there's quite a lot of stuff you don't have. Like, for example, if you look here, we have WooCommerce, there's Google Page Speed. So these are additions to this. So this is free, don't get me wrong, but for $39, you also get all these items added on top of this. So all-in-one SEO is good. It will have all your basic stuff, but if you have extra stuff that you want to add on, it's really cool. Like Google News Sitemap, this is really cool. I use this a lot. Redirections, Google Suggest, Google Local Business. This may be really cool if you're doing SEO for local businesses. So video sitemap, if you have a website with videos. So all these are the features that come in addition to that. But all-in-one SEO, yes, it's been out there for a very long time, but this is what I prefer. Oh, Monique, thank you very much for that. I actually created a video about this. I almost forgot about it. So Monique, thank you very much for adding this video for me. Let's have a look here. Byron says, do you have a class on SEO Press? No, not yet. I don't have a class on SEO Press, but this is something that it's in the pipeline. These are the sort of things that I would like to add onto the membership. So I will be adding these short courses very soon. Right now, I'm working on Learn Dash and then Member Press, because there's been updates that have been added to these plugins. So I've had to record all these videos, and it's like I'm chasing all these updates as I'm doing these videos. So SEO Press definitely is going to be one of those short courses that I'll be adding on. Right, Rosemary here says padding. Let's have a look. I saw something here about. Rosemary says, I'm having trouble changing padding for responsive design. Okay, let's have a look at that quickly. Let's see what the issue is for responsive design, padding on responsive design. Okay, so I'm going to let's go into this one here. Module settings, design, spacing. So over here, you can see we have padding. So let me just add. Okay, in fact, let me click on this little icon first. So here, I'm going to add padding of, let's say, 20, top, bottom, left, right. I'm going to do the same. Okay, now I'm going to go into tablet. So for tablets, I'm going to add, let's say, 10. Rosemary, I hope you're watching. Let's add 10 for that. And then for the phone, I'm going to add 5, like that. So definitely this is working. So as you can see, for the phone, I have 5 pixels. For the tablet, I have 10 pixels. For the desktop, I have 20 pixels. Is this what you're doing? Rosemary, is this what you're doing? Can you let me know what the issue is, please? This should work fine. If you do it this way, this should work fine. I'm just going to come over here to the content and add a background so we can see the padding. Okay. I'm not sure why it wouldn't work visually. Let me just test this and just make sure. Yep, this is working fine. I can see here. And let's try this. Yep. Yeah, this seems to be working fine. Are you what I've noticed, Rosemary, is when I sometimes go in and make my adjustments here for these devices. I mean, for spacing and padding. The reason why it doesn't work, okay, because I do a lot of tutorials on these. Sometimes I go in and let's say, for example, here I add, let's say 20, like that, right? So I could go, let's say, on border here. And let's say on border, I'm actually on the tablet. So as I'm working here, everything is on tablet view. So on spacing, sometimes you're thinking, okay, so I'm on tablet view, so these sizes should be fine. And sometimes you forget that you are not on the actual tab that you're supposed to be working on. And it can be very frustrating. So what I noticed is this is where sometimes I miss this tip or this technique. You have to make sure you're on the particular item. So if it's padding you're working on, make sure you're here on the padding. If it's margins, even though here it's showing that you're on the tablet view, it doesn't necessarily mean that if you come in here and add 20 on the margin, you're going to be adding it on the tablet view. Do you notice the difference now? It doesn't mean that because here I'm on the tablet view here, it doesn't mean if you add padding, I mean margin of 20, it's going to adjust the margins. No, it doesn't. You need to actually go into the margin and make sure you've got the tablet tab open, and then you add your values in there. I think this is the issue you may be having, because I've had this problem before. Because sometimes when you see that you're in tablet view here, you assume that you're in the actual mode that you're supposed to be working in. Hope that helps. Rosemary says modules versus rows versus padding, not confused regarding views. I'm not sure what this. Do you mean setting up your sizes for rows, desktops, and I mean rows, margins, and desktops? Let me just do a quick demo here and see if maybe that's what you're referring to. So here as well, if I click here on, let's say, sections, design, spacing. Let's say I want to add some padding. I'll click on this little icon here on the desktop. So let's say here it could be, let's say 100. Tablet, I could say maybe 50 here. Phone, maybe 20. So that's how you'd set up your section settings regarding the padding or even the margins. Not sure if that's what you're referring to. Oh, okay. Can't tell where padding ends or begins between modules, rows, and sections. Okay, I'm going to show you a really cool trick here. So if you're not sure where things end, let me look for a section here. Right, there was a shortcut that I used to use, which helped. It's not working anymore. I think it was holding down the control or the option key. That's weird. That is strange. Oh, okay. So what you want to do, if you want to see where things end, You hold down the command key. No, I've just done it. Strange. Okay. This is weird. I just done it. Right. Does anyone remember? I know this is embarrassing. Does anyone remember multi-select? How to activate multi-select? I'm sure it was the shift click. And shift click would actually help you see like the margins and padding around. Strange. Yes. Or as RJ says, just use the mouse. So if I come over here and I click, it actually shows me my space around here, and I can actually go in and increase it if I need to. If I need to see the space around, let's say the rows, you can see I've added my mouse here around the rows, and I can actually see how much space I have just by mousing over this. What I was really looking for was before I was able to go in and click on it and make it show as I'm clicking. Now I have one more trick here that could help you if you really want to see where things are. So what you want to do is to click here on these three little dots on the bottom left. Hopefully you can see that. And then you want to activate click mode. Okay, like that. So now, as you're designing, you can actually click on this and see. This is strange. Okay, let me activate it. Okay, so now as you're working on this, when you mouse over whatever you're designing, you can see it's now highlighted. I'm sure you can, hopefully you can see that, right? So now you can see where everything ends. So with this one here, I can actually see where, everything ends. So you have to make sure you activate this click mode. So when you mouse over it, it actually shows you where things are, okay? So this also shows you here, as you can see, it shows me where my row is just by mousing over it. So you may want to activate this click mode. That would help really well. Okay, there was also another question here, which I think is very important for courses. Right, courses and memberships. This was added in by Claude. Now, when it comes to courses and memberships, there's two ways to do this. And this is what I'll also be explaining in, in fact, let me bring myself here on the screen. Right. When it comes to courses, I tried several options. And to be honest, it was quite frustrating because I wanted a system that would work for my setup. And what happened is I started off using MemberPress, which I highly recommend. MemberPress is very, very good. It's a solid plugin. Now, what MemberPress does is it's an all-in-one package. So what you would do is you would use LearnDash, okay? So that controls all your courses, make sure everything is in place. So LearnDash definitely is a must, okay? Secondly, now this is how I'd set things up before. So I used LearnDash and MemberPress, okay? So with this setup, MemberPress pretty much handled all my sales and subscriptions. It's an all-in-one package. It links up with PayPal. It also links up with Stripe. Very, very solid, very, very good. Now, here's where the problem came in. I wanted to add funnels onto my system. Now, the funnels, the way they work is, let's say I'm selling the Divi Blueprint 3 course, right? Now, as someone is actually buying the Divi Blueprint 3 course, I wanted to offer a deal on, let's say, one of the courses that I have, let's say Photoshop for Web Designers course, and sell it maybe at a 30% discount, right? So this is how the funnel would work. So I would add upsells and downsells. So the moment I added the cart flows as my funnel, which by the way is brilliant. I highly recommend this. I know it's pricey, but you'll notice that as you start using it, it will start adding quite a lot of money into your business. It's very, very good with the upsells. Okay, so when I added cart flows, I noticed that it wasn't working very well with MemberPress, but I really wanted how cart flow works. So what I then ended up doing was, for my cart system, instead of using MemberPress, I switched over to WooCommerce, because WooCommerce and cart flows, they're like brothers and sisters. They work really well together. Okay, so when I did this now, this really messed up all my subscribers. Some of them were losing access because MemberPress actually controls how people are the members, which what courses they have access to, what memberships they have access to. So when I took this out of the equation, I remained with cart flows and WooCommerce, right? Now I had a problem. This is where now I added WP Fusion. Now what WP Fusion does, it does what MemberPress does, right? It applies access to members, to specific courses, to specific memberships, but it's based on tags. So let's say you come in and you buy a Divi Blueprint 3 course, automatically WP Fusion gives you a tag and says, bought Divi Blueprint 3, and this goes to ConvertKit. So now ConvertKit is now connected with WP Fusion. So what happens now is when the visitor comes, because you have that tag, that's the course that you'll have access to. So it's a tag-based system. It's fantastic. The only drawback with this system that I have here is it's very expensive, because WP Fusion costs about $300, Cart Flows cost about $300, LearnDash about $150. So as you can see, it's a massive investment, but if you get all this working together, this is the best way to have this running. Now, here's the thing. If you don't care about having these funnels and into your membership website, then the best option now is to have LearnDash and MemberPress. These two are enough, because MemberPress has the cart system. It connects with PayPal, it connects with Stripe, and it works really well. And it can also provide access to your members. So let's say someone buys a course, MemberPress will give you access to those members directly. So this is the two systems. If you want to go for the cheaper option, go for MemberPress and LearnDash, and that's perfect. But if you want to go with funnels and all of that, then you want to use WooCommerce, Cart Flows, and WP Fusion. Hope that makes sense. Claude says the cost you mentioned are manual. Annual, yes, they're annual prices. And the really cool thing about it is, if you, let's say, in the way, this is how I look at it. When I buy these plugins, for me, it's an investment into my business, okay? I want things that work really, really good, and so that I can just concentrate on the content. So with Cart Flows, it's about $300 per year. But if your system is running so effective, right, you can make that $300 from maybe one person that buys the course, and pretty much it's paid for itself. The rest throughout the whole year, if you sell maybe 10 times, that's all profit now. So that's how I look at it. If this makes my system more efficient, I pretty much go with that. And I have all the affiliate links to WP Fusion, Cart Flows, and all of that. So if you're interested, I can just add all these here. And I would really appreciate it if you use these affiliate links, because as I'm building this business, ideally I want to get to a point where the whole business is sustaining itself. The affiliates are working so that I can really focus 100% on creating content. So any little help really goes a long way. So this is actually helping because I'm investing in so much gear, so much stuff to make my courses look much, much better. As you've noticed, I've just bought a new microphone here. This is a Rode NTG4. It makes me present on camera without having that big microphone in my face. So again, all these are just steps to make my production even much, much better. So, these affiliates definitely help, but I want to get to a point where the whole package is all profitable and is really making good money. So far it's working really well. I really like how things are going. So for those of you that would like to create courses for the future, in the future, you will now have access to someone who's actually done it. I've done all the mistakes. I can tell you where I've gone wrong and so on. So it's really cool. All right, let me see if we have any more questions. Rosemary says, are we done with responsive design? Yes, we're done with responsive design. I'm just answering your questions now, if you have any. Douglas, thank you very much for that comment. Appreciate it. RJ says, I'm not listening. Rosemary says, can we try Photoshop again? Right, now my system here, because I have this live stream going, it just makes everything really slow. So it's a nightmare, to be honest, to run Photoshop while I'm doing this live stream because I have quite a few programs running in the background. But I could set up a specific, Photoshop live stream. But to be honest, I already have a course. If you go into the members area, you'll see Photoshop for web designers. Whatever I was going to try and show you here is going to be in the course itself. Right. Any more questions? I know I went off on a bit of a tangent right there talking about this membership stuff, but hopefully I've explained clearly what this setup looks like. And this is why as well, I haven't really pushed out the LearnDash course, because I wanted to make sure that the system that I have is stable enough for me to recommend it for you. So this is a course that will be coming out very soon as well, the LearnDash course. John Jackson says, looking forward to learning lots about membership sites. Yes, membership sites are very profitable. Even if you're designing membership websites for your clients, this is something unique that you can add on top of just designing basic websites for small businesses. Rito says, I have to go now. Right, I'm just about to finalize this live stream. Pretty much I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. So I'd like to say to everyone that joined me on this live stream, thank you very much for joining me. Really appreciate it. If you still have any more questions, please just drop your questions in the comments box, and then I can address them next week when we do the next live stream. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you need any of those links to purchase any of the plugins that we spoke about, just go on funnelstoincome.com. On the bottom right, there's a pop-up. You can just drop me your question there, and I'll be able to address it. And again, one more time, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Really appreciate your time. See you again next Saturday. Take care.